start for James Dickey's club. 7-3 our score. Ryan Humphrey, he has been slow during this losing streak for Oklahoma. This is his first shot. Owens and Najera battle for the rebound. And it's off Owens. And give the Oklahoma basketball. They'll have a fresh 35. Now let's take a look at the Dodge Keys for James Dickey and Texas Tech.
Texas Tech today has to make threes, and they have to defend Najera. That is very important for them today.
Well, they've already hit 1 3, and that was the opening basket of the game. Good pass inside. Najera muscles one up.
Excellent pick on the baseline. Little on big pick to free Eduardo.
Owens working on Najera on the other end. Nice jumper by Cliff Owens.
Both of these teams are coming out very hot in terms of shooting the basketball and getting good shots, Bill.
That's an interesting matchup down there with Owens and Najera. You've got 2 of the better athletic big men in the league. Martin spots up for the 3. In and out, no good. Humphrey has the rebound. Working on Phillips, and he scores. That's a big basket for Oklahoma.
Ryan will get off the hump now a little bit. There was a great offensive rebound.
Rayford Young trying to show that quickness. He tried to get around Michael Johnson, but he's fouled. That'll be the first personal on Michael and the first foul of the ball game.
In order to have a good fast break, Rayford has got to push the ball up the court. But just as important are the 2 wings running the court.
We saw Texas Tech in practice last night, and Rayford Young just did not seem to move all that well, even in the half-court game.
His ankle's bothering him, there's no question about it, but he's a tough kid.
Junior from Pampa, pounded by Alex Spalding. Gives off Johnny Phillips. Blocked by Ryan Humphrey. And the ultimate possession will go to Oklahoma.
That was a great defensive play on the baseline. It was a good dish. Took it right to the basket, and Humphrey shows his great athletic ability and rejects the shot. We're back to that rule of alternating whatever. I don't know the rule. I still don't know the rule.
Eric Martin has his shot blocked by Kennard. Texas Tech with the basketball again.
It's interesting. Martin is a standstill shooter. He is not a shooter who can take a dribble and shoot.
Young in traffic. Leaves it off for Phillips, and he muscles it up and scores. And he draws the foul.
Rayford Young is breaking down the point defender, whoever it is. And when he's able to break down the point defender, they have to give help. And when they give help, they can kick the ball to the baseline, and Phillips can score down there. He can do a good job down there.
And Humphrey's got to make sure he doesn't get the ball back up and have a chance to score.
Yeah, and he helped out and was out of position.
And Johnny Phillips to the line. He's a pretty good field goal shooter. He connects on the free throw. And it's a 12-7 Texas Tech lead. He shot the ball extremely well.
I look for Oklahoma to really start to execute better than they have. Their picks are not solid.
Spalding aggressively goes to the baseline. Gives it off for Najera. He can hit that 3, but he's short on that try. And Owens has another rebound. Long outlet. It's a foot race, and Michael Johnson gets there first. Crowd wanted a foul. They thought he bumped off Rayford Young. Spalding trying to get around the Ware. Najera for another 3 try. And again, he's short.
He wasn't ready to shoot the ball. Anytime you hesitate, you're probably not going to knock the shot down.
12-7 is our score. 4 minutes gone by. Owens working on Najera. And Najera has the rebound. Spalding, great pass to Martin, and he scores. Eric Martin now with 5 in the game.
It was a crisp pass, and it was delivered where he could catch it and shoot it right away.
Rayford Young again for 3. That rims out. Spalding has the rebound. Alex Spalding won't do a lot of things that you'll see in the stats, but his presence on the floor has really helped his team this year.
He's got good quickness. He'll make some good passes. He has a little medium-range jumper.
That shot was blocked, but Najera was in the right spot. He scores.
That's where he's so tough. He's got a great nose for the basketball.
4 points in the game for Eduardo Najera. And we've got a double dribble and a turnover to Oklahoma. We've got a break on the floor. 12-11 is our score. We'll be right back after this message from your friends at Phillips 66, the Performance Company. With Tony Barone, I'm Bill Dolman. We welcome you back to the Lubbock Coliseum in Lubbock, Texas. The hometown Red Raiders with a 1-point lead, 12-11, over the Oklahoma Sooners. And James Dickey going into that timeout, Tony, was pretty upset.
Yeah, he was upset at the double dribble call on Rayford Young. The referee said that he had actually palmed the ball, and Coach Dickey was just wanting an explanation about that.
I'm sure no explanation sufficed in that situation. Well, this team has shot the ball extremely well here in the early going. You see the three-point numbers. But Texas Tech, 5 of 8 from the floor, 62.5%. They're the top shooting team in the conference, both behind the arc and the regular field goal attempts. 5 minutes gone by, Oklahoma with a chance to take the lead.
Coming out of the timeout, Oklahoma ran a set play, and Tech did a real nice job of bellying up in the low post on the post-up man.
Victor Avila has checked in, 32 for Oklahoma. He pulls down the rebound as Johnson misses and tries again from the corner. He loves that spot. Najera pulls down the rebound. Good offensive possession for Oklahoma. Najera can't score. And the Red Raiders pull down the rebound. Mario Lane will get a foul on Texas Tech. And that's going to go against Johnny Phillips.
That was a great job on the offensive glass by Oklahoma. They didn't gather themselves after getting the offensive rebound, and they didn't take great shots, even though they really pounded the boards.
But they want to play that half-court game today. They don't want to get in a spring game with Texas Tech.
And in fact, Oklahoma's breaking a little bit better than Tech is right now. I'm surprised at that.
Johnson trying to get it in, and he didn't do it. A 5-second violation and the turnover to Texas Tech. That last foul was the first personal foul on, first team foul rather, on Texas Tech.
More games are lost by a lack of execution on baseline and sideline out of bounds plays.
Rayford Young with the basketball. Why is that?
Well, because it usually ends up in an easy basket for the other team, and you do not get the shot that you were looking for, so it's almost a 4-point turnaround.
Kind of like special teams in football. Some teams may not put enough emphasis on that.
Absolutely. We worked from the very beginning of the first practice. We put in our sideline and baseline out of bounds. We used to call them lobs and slobs.
Turnover to Oklahoma. And the Sooners have a chance to take the lead once again. 6 minutes have gone by here in the first half. Martin, thanks to a pick from Avila. Got three. Nice free again for three, and he hits. You cannot leave that guy alone.
Bad decision by Owens. He jumped out on the pick to switch, and then he didn't stay with Martin, who's leading the world in three-point shooting.
Michael Johnson handing Rayford Young in the backcourt, and the turnover to Oklahoma.
Bill, Michael Johnson is a very, very underrated defensive player. He has exceptional quickness, and he really anticipates well. He's bothering Rayford right now.
Johnson, Avila, Humphrey, Martin, and Najera on the floor for Kelvin Sampson. Jason Mitchell has checked in for James Dickey, number 50, as is Randy Ellis. That shot is blocked, and the long rebound to Mario Lane. So James Dickey going to his bench here in the early going. Lane spinning on Najera. They say it's a charge.
I look at the replay, but I think it was a charge. The mistake he made was he didn't give the ball up to Rayford. Lane is a good ball handler, but he's out of control. We can't see Rayford, but he's on this left wing. Definitely a charge. Good call.
But Najera is such an outstanding player on both ends of the floor. We welcome you back to Lubbock, Texas. Or welcome you to Lubbock, Texas with Tony Barone. I'm Bill Dolman. 14-12 is our score. Oklahoma on top of the Red Raiders. The Sooners trying to end a 4-game losing streak. 3 of those games in conference play. The other loss to Cincinnati, who hasn't gotten beaten up by the Bearcats this year. Najera softly, that won't go. And the foul on the Sooners on Avila.
That time Oklahoma went back to their basic offense and executed it very well.
Kelvin Sampson looks on. His team leads it by 2. And with the Coliseum in Lubbock, Texas, 6 inches of snow, as we talked about in the open spell last night, hampered the crowd just a little bit out of Atlanta. Those folks who stayed home are missing a pretty good basketball game, at least in the early going, as Mario Lane goes to the baseline and he got a foul away from the basketball. And they'll go against Oklahoma. It's on Michael Johnson guarding Rayford Young.
I think the ref called a push on Michael Johnson. When you're guarding Lane for Texas Tech, you must back off of him because he's a dribble drive guy. He's not going to shoot the ball from the perimeter.
Tech led by 12-7 at one point earlier. They have not scored in 2.5 minutes. Rayford Young to the baseline. He wins the brief drought.
It's really surprising, Bill, that he gets inside and shoots it over the big guys, but he does it all the time.
He's a fantastic player to watch. He has a lot of fun. All mannered too. Spalding is checked back in. Young picks him out. Here's Avila. He walked with it. Avila, the junior college transfer from Stockdale Community College. They had high hopes for him coming into this year, but he was slowed by a stress fracture. They thought it was going to be a stress fracture, so he really didn't get into the Oklahoma lineup until the start of conference play. Today's game is brought to you by Southwestern Bell, your friendly neighborhood global communications company.
Oklahoma is switching all the perimeter screens.
Shot taken by Andy Ellis, was blocked from behind by Ryan Humphrey. Javon Banks is checked into the lineup for James Dickey. And they say it's a jump ball situation and possession to Texas Tech. Humphrey is outstanding blocking shots. He's just a sophomore for the Sooners, but he already ranks in the top 5 at OU in block shots.
Well, he's got great timing inside. And he's a great leader.
Alex Spalding bodying up to Mario Lane, and he picks up the foul. It's team foul number 5 now in Oklahoma. 12-10 to play in the opening half.
Oklahoma has to make decisions on how they're going to guard the screen across in the lane. They either have to switch it or they have to fight through it, and they haven't made that decision yet.
Tim Heskett is checked in, 14, replaces Eric Martin. And we've got a foul on the inbounds play. And now we'll go against Jason Mitchell, of Texas Tech. Turnover to Oklahoma.
The referees are being very consistent with all hand checking and pushing in this game.
Tied up at 14. Tim Heskett with the basketball. He'll run some point now for the Sooners. He's an outstanding shooter, but he's got a broken finger on his shooting hand. And that's really hampered his play the last few weeks. Inside, great play to Humphrey.
Andy Ellis, the freshman, got caught on the baseline side, and he gave Ryan an easy route to the basket.
Humphrey's dunk gives Oklahoma a 2-point lead, 16-14.
We haven't seen Rinzai Stone yet for Oklahoma.
In a game like this, where we've got a freshman in Andy Ellis, we've got a foul on Oklahoma. We've got a timeout on the floor. We'll finish that point in a moment. 2-point Oklahoma lead. We'll be back with more from Lubbock right after this. With Tony Barone on Bill Dolman, the Oklahoma Sooners with a 2-point lead over Texas Tech, 11:37 to play in the first half. Big 12 fans, how would you like to win a trip to the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City? Well, it's easy. Just answer the Nations Bank Salute to Excellence trivia question. This week's question is, which Big 12 school has had the most players picked in the NBA draft in the 90s? If you know the answer, visit the Big 12 website at www.big12sports.com. All correct entries will be entered into a drawing for a trip to see the Big 12 tournament. Nations Bank is the official bank of the Big 12 Conference. Which Big 12 school has had the most players picked in the NBA draft in the decade of the 90s? A lot of talent in the Big 12. Keep in mind, though, Big 12's only been around for a couple of years. Is that a good hint? Yeah. And Lane's pass is intercepted. A poor decision by the Red Raiders after that break. Humphrey, nice pass to Najera, and he scores.
Bill, out of the timeout, Oklahoma went to his zone on the side, on the baseline out of bounds. They're back man now.
Mitchell inside. Andy Ellis kicks it back out. And Banks will try and hit the three. No good. And Mitchell with a long rebound in a battle with Heskett. And they say it's Texas Tech basketball.
Mitchell is a very sneaky offensive rebounder. He can really go to the glass, and Heskett will have a little problem guarding him. Oklahoma is in the 3-2 zone now. When you see Eduardo at the top of that key, that means they're going to be in the 3-2 zone.
He can cover a lot of territory up there.
Michael Johnson, Norm Martin are in the game, so this for Oklahoma, and he's getting a rest for both of those guys by playing the zone.
Now, in a situation like this, wouldn't James Dickey try to get some shooters in there like a Rayford Young?
James Dickey wants to get the ball to the corner against these guys. That's the open spot.
Javon Banks has his shot blocked by Avila, and here come the Sooners. They lead it by 4, 18-14. Spalding's pass was tipped away to recover the loose ball. Najera tries the three. Tapped around, and Lane has the rebound.
Eduardo's pulling back on every three he shot. He pulled back. He didn't follow through.
Pass was tipped. Lane came down with it, and a foul called on Oklahoma.
Against this 3-2 zone, you have some options in terms of scoring. One is in the low post, and the other is both corners. So it'll be interesting to see what James decides. He's got Young back in and Ware back in, his two best three-point shooters.
Texas Tech led 12-7 earlier, but right now the Sooners with an 11-2 run, even 18-14. And that foul on Oklahoma on Spalding was his second and the 7th team foul. So Texas Tech is already at the bonus with 10:22 to play in the half.
That's another reason why Calvin decided he was going to go to this one, I think. He knew he was in foul trouble.
And Lane connects on the first, and that's a big story for James Dickey. Mario Lane hitting just 48% from the line, although a little bit better in conference play, 57%. From Barbados. Second one rolls off from Najera. Leaves it for Spalding. Alex Spalding playing a key role for the Sooners today. Heston pass to Martin, wasn't handled, and the turnover to Owens. Well, this is a guy that James Dickey doesn't want controlling the basketball, but he ran the break pretty well. Lane's shot was wild, and Avila has the rebound.
You're not going to get acrobatic shots in this game in terms of their defense.
Spalding spots up for three and hits.
Great example of transition defense, or lack of that time, by Texas Tech. They let the wide open shooter available at the end of the break. They've moved Martin to the top of the 3-2 zone because they like Eduardo guarding in the low post.
Any points that they can get out of Alex Spalding is a bonus for Oklahoma. And that three has given the Sooners a 6-point lead. Spalding collides with Lane, no foul called. And that shot was blocked by Najera.
Good job by Oklahoma contesting shots. You can't leave major college players open. You got to contest it.
And Rayford Young fouls Spalding in the backcourt. Spalding looks like he might be shaken up just a little bit. As Kelvin Sampson makes a line change and brings in three players, including Renzai Stone. There's Spalding. He looks like he's smarting just a little bit.
It looks like he strained a muscle, maybe even in the groin area.
Picked up by Javon Banks. Michael Johnson is back into the lineup for Oklahoma, along with Eric Martin.
I think this is the first time we've seen Renzai Stone.
It is. Humphrey inside. Scores over Cliff Owens.
Great entry pass by Martin.
And a 20-second timeout is called by Texas Tech. We're going to take a timeout here and send it back to Studio 66 in Duck Bell.
Checking things out between Missouri and Baylor. Keon Dooling is the man early on. Check out this crossover dribble. He is a fabulous freshman. He has 11 points early on. There's no stopping that. It's Missouri on an 11-0 run, leading 21-10. Back to Bill and Tony.
Thank you, Doug. Keon Dooling is a fantastic freshman, but we have one on the floor today, and Andy Ellis for Texas Tech. They may be the freshman of the year frontrunners.
I think that they both are. That's a good point. And I think Andy Ellis has been a much more of a surprise than Dooling. Ellis is a little bigger than we thought he was, and he's got good quickness around the basket.
That's Andy Ellis. Gets 17 points in the game earlier this year in Norman. Perfect from the floor, perfect from the free throw line. 5 of 5 and 7 of 7. Oklahoma won that one 78-68 back on January 6th. Young spots up for three. That's a little short. He got his own rebound. Kicks it back out. We'll try it again. That rolls off. Humphrey has the rebound.
Oklahoma came out of that timeout, Bill, and went to a half-court trap.
Sooners lead it by 8, 23-15. Humphrey. He's got 6 in the game. Give him 8.
Texas Tech is going to have to make a decision on how they want to guard Humphrey. Right now, they're letting him catch the ball in the paint and trying to be physical against him, and he's just risen up and shot the ball over both of the defenders.
Cliff Owens checks out. Rodney Kennard has come back in for Texas Tech. Lindsey Stone, after a brief break, comes back in for Oklahoma. He replaces Humphrey. We've got Johnson, Najera, Stone, Spalding, and Martin on the floor for Kelvin Sampson. Javon Banks, Andy Ellis, Rayford Young, James Ware, and Rodney Kennard on the floor for James Dickey and Texas Tech. The Red Raiders have gone cold. They're shooting 60% from the floor, 6 of 10 though. Not a lot of shots taken by the Red Raiders. Rayford Young tried to score. He can't do it, and Stone has the rebound. He clears it to Johnson. Oklahoma each time down seems to be playing with more and more confidence. Spalding rolls it in.
Oklahoma really has momentum at this particular point. Tech has to worry about getting a good shot here.
That may have been forced up too quickly.
Now, he didn't have position underneath the glass at all.
Spalding can't handle the alley-oop. It goes out of bounds, and the turnover to Texas Tech, who got a timeout on the floor. Oklahoma leads the Red Raiders 27-15. We'll be right back after this message from your friends at Phillips 66, the Performance Company. Phillips 66 is proud to be the presenting sponsor of Big 12 basketball. Be sure to stop by your local Phillips 66 station and fill up with high-quality, super clean gasoline only from Phillips 66, the Performance Company. Well, at the 15:09 mark, Texas Tech led 12-11, but in the last 3 minutes, Oklahoma has gone on to a 9-0 scoring run.
Both poor shot selection by Tech and really good up-tempo by Oklahoma, who starts back now in a zone defensively. This is the 3-2 zone that they love to play.
It's a 20-3 run over the last 9 minutes. 27-15 is our score. With Tony Baroni, I'm Bill Goldman. We're at the Lubbock Coliseum in Lubbock, Texas. Glad to have you with us for Big 12 Conference basketball. Rayford Young got a hand on it and kept it alive, but threw it away to Najera. Here come the Sooners and Michael Johnson, a 3-on-3 situation. Najera looking for somebody inside. They've got a mismatch. Now they correct it. They have Javon Banks and Ryan Humphrey one-on-one inside.
I like Oklahoma's patience right now, Bill. They're running their basic offense. This is a very good offense.
Johnson from the corner hits the three.
That kid shoots the ball from the corner better than anybody I've seen.
And a 20-second timeout called by Texas Tech, and this is turning into a frustrating afternoon for James Dickey and company. Michael Johnson, though, boy, the Oklahoma guards have been dynamite from behind the arc in the last 4 games for the Sooners. They just have not been able to pick up any victories, but these guys have been playing very well and shooting it well.
Michael Johnson runs a little cut off of the post and then fades to the corner. And as he fades, the penetration is stopped, but they leave him wide open for the three.
His first 3 of the game.
Tech is at a real critical point right now. And you get real frustrated as a team and as a coach when you're not attacking the zone. And this is what really bothers Tech. Oklahoma has trapped in the corner out of the zone, which is a little new wrinkle for them. So what you have to do is you must have sharper passes, you have more penetration, and you have to move the ball better.
And remember, Oklahoma has not played since Monday night that loss to Texas. They are playing like a pressure basketball team, and most folks saw in that loss.
Their legs look really good. Even though they had tough travel getting here yesterday, their legs look great.
You and I talked about it. It looked as though they were a fatigued basketball team the last couple of weeks. And no doubt that Cincinnati game took a lot out of it.
If Cincinnati played the Lakers, it would take a lot out of the Lakers.
Ellis can't handle the pass, and it's another turnover to Oklahoma. And then Oklahoma had Nebraska come into town, and the Huskers are a very athletic club, too.
And then Oklahoma had beaten Nebraska so many times in a row, and Nebraska, Benson Hamilton's a low. Tough player. Jason
Mitchell has come back in for Texas Tech. The Red Raiders trying to find the right combination. Najera gets free from Mitchell softly. That won't roll home. And the rebound pulled down by Rodney Kennard. Rayford Young in transition. So dangerous there. Turnaround jumper. That rolls off. Tapped up. That won't go. Mitchell has it. That bounces off. Texas Tech can't buy a basket. They had 5 or 6 cracks at it, Tony, and they still did not get any points.
As a coach, you look at that and say, keep doing it.
Johnson misses the 3 on the other end. Stone has the rebound, and he scores.
I'm really impressed with Oklahoma's focus on this game. They are going to the offensive glass and really hurting Tech.
When these two teams met in Norman earlier this year, it was a back-and-forth battle until the last 5-6 minutes of the game, and then the Sooners took charge. They're taking control here in the early going of the first half. Now we're midway through the first half, and on the rebound, Ryan Humphrey was called for traveling. And we'll stay on this end with Texas Tech basketball.
Bill, Rayford is such a competitive kid. He's trying to do too much now. He needs to get penetration and kick it to one of the shooters to get everybody involved in what they're doing.
Young tries the three, and finally the drought ends. You saw a moment ago, 14-0 run over the last 4.5 minutes. 32-18 is our score. It's still a 15-point advantage for OU. Avila's checked back in. Here's Martin with the basketball. And Johnson tried to kick it back out to Martin, and it was tapped away. Tim Heskett will come back in. He replaces Alan Spaulding.
Oklahoma likes to dribble, drive, and then pitch to the perimeter. They've done it 4 or 5 times and got really good shots.
Here's a guy that the Sooners would love to get more production from offensively. Avila has a miss, a rebound, and the putback.
The emotion in Tech right now is drained. They need to get after it on the glass, and I'd like to see him get the ball into the paint. Bill changing defenses. Oklahoma now went to man, and interestingly enough, they've got Martin on Young to try to really alter his shot.
Phillips has come back in. He's double teamed down low. Avila's on it. Forces that up. And Najera swipes it out of the air. And that changing defenses, coach, that'll also change up the tempo of the basketball game. That's in Oklahoma's favor. Avila has a shot block. Young spots up for three. You get the feeling that Rayford thinks he's got to do it all himself at this point.
They got to get back.
And the pass goes out of bounds and knocked around. It'll go to Texas Tech. With 3.5 minutes to go in the first half, we've got a timeout on the floor. Oklahoma leads Texas Tech 34-18. Thank you, Doug. Here in Lubbock, the Oklahoma Sooners have a 34-18 advantage on Texas Tech with 3.5 minutes to play in the first half. Texas Tech led early, and they shot the ball well, hitting 5 of their first 8 shots. But, Tony, they have really shot the ball poorly lately.
Shot selection has not been good, Bill, down over the last 3 minutes. They've taken a lot of shots that are out of their range, number one.
And you and I were talking, they're not getting a lot of movement on the offensive end against that Oklahoma zone.
And Oklahoma is back in the zone again, and it has really frustrated Tech. Now they're starting to get some cutters, and that's what they have to do against the zone. It's where they miss Bonowitz, Bill.
You're right.
Because he'd stand out here about 35 feet and knock it down.
Not only that, but he's an excellent passer, too. They've got 3 seconds on the shot clock. That rolls off. Stone taps it around, and Martin has the rebound. Credit Rinsai Stone for keeping that ball alive for Oklahoma. Now Najera working on Andy Ellis. Martin spots up, hits the three. Is that guy feeling his three-point touch or what?
It's like shooting layups for the kid. He nails it.
They say he's the ideal 6th man. Well, today he came in to the game in the starting role.
I think what you're seeing here is Oklahoma just hanging with that zone. They like it.
Andy Ellis with a pretty turnaround jumper. There's a future star in this league.
It's going to be really a good player. He's very talented already offensively, Bill.
Freshman from La Mesa, Texas. He's the 2nd leading rebounder and scorer among Big 12 freshmen. Ware now picks up Heskett. Heskett, we mentioned, playing with a broken finger on his shooting hand, so his numbers have come down a little bit the last couple of weeks. That's slapped away from Najera. Good break this time. Banks has an easy 2 for Texas Tech.
Defensive pressure, which Tech has not been doing well to this juncture. They did a real good job that time.
That was really the first time we've seen any transition out of Texas Tech in this game. We've got a foul in the backcourt on the Red Raiders. And that'll be the 15th foul on Texas Tech. Coming up at halftime on our National Car Rental Halftime Report, you'll see the highlights of Baylor and Missouri, and also the big win in the East, UConn and number 10 St. John's. Mike Jarvis has done some tremendous things with that program since coming over from George Washington. He's got it in the top 10, and that's a great game, UConn and St. John's. So halftime highlights coming up on the National Car Rental Halftime Report.
Seeing a little bit more energy from Tech on defense right now. They're much more aggressive.
Spalding picked up by Banks. 12 to shoot for the Sooners. Najera spinning on Ellis. They just cleared him right out of the way, and the long rebound to Banks. Saw the strength of Eduardo Najera, though.
They've got Banks and Rayford in together to try to get the tempo up a little bit more. Back in their 3-2 zone.
Banks gives off to Owens. Forces one up. Shot was blocked by Najera. Humphrey's pass taken away by Rayford Young. He can't score, but he's fouled by Spalding, and then it'll be Spalding's third. He may not be as quick as he usually is, but he's still quicker than a lot of people.
And he's got great anticipation. He saw a lot of times when you're going back on defense, you don't see the whole court. Well, he started back and saw that there was going to be a lackadaisical pass, and he shuffled right in. Owens has to make his decision quicker in the low post. He's got good quickness. He jumps well, but he's got to do it quicker.
And Rayford hits the free throw. Rayford Young during his career at Texas Tech, an 81% free throw shooter. He's hitting nearly 86% of his shots from the line this year.
That's a phenomenal percentage because he shoots a lot of late game free throws where the pressure is really tough.
Makes them both. And it's a 13-point game, and Kelvin Sampson wants to talk to his club. We've got a 20-second timeout called by the Sooners. He's got a 13-point lead, but he can sense maybe his team might be pulling back just a little bit. They had great intensity early on.
You know, the coaches know their team better than anybody. I would anticipate here, Coach Sampson has seen a little bit of that 4-game losing streak seep in. So he's going to straighten that out with a little discussion over the 20 seconds.
What do you suppose Kelvin Sampson was like over the last 5 days? They've had 5 days to think about the 4-game losing streak. What did he say to his club? What kind of things do you think that they did?
It depends on why they were losing. But I think, knowing Coach Sampson, he just went back to the basics and said, look, we've got to rebound, we've got to pass, we've got to move the ball up the court, and we'll be fine. Remember, they played Cincinnati, and that game, I think, turned a lot of things around in terms of the intimidation and the pressure of playing those particular guys.
We've got 47 seconds remaining in the first half. The Sooners lead by 13 with the basketball. Najera picked up by Mitchell. Inside Stone had his shot blocked. Najera was there. His tip won't go. And it's offensive basket interference. And Texas Tech will have the basketball. 30 seconds remaining now, 29 seconds remaining in the first half. There's an opportunity for Texas Tech to get this thing under 10 points.
They need to do that, and then they get some momentum going in at halftime. Eduardo really crashes the board. He's an excellent offensive rebounder.
Well, instead of trying to get a couple of possessions out of the last 30 seconds, Texas Tech's going to play for the final shot. Still a basket here before halftime, which would cut it to 11. Or 10 would be huge. Rayford Young, that 3 won't go. Mitchell taps it up, it won't go. Ellis is there, and the shot clock, or rather the game clock, winds down to 0, and that's how the first half will come to an end.
Oklahoma, fresh legs. The layoff, I think, helped them. Texas Tech was a little sluggish at the start of the game.
A big run by Oklahoma has given the Sooners a 37-24 lead at the half. Now let's send it back to Studio 66 and Doug Bell.
Bill, thank you. It's snowing in Lubbock today, but right now Oklahoma is red hot inside Lubbock. The Lubbock Arena as they're playing awfully well, trying to break that 4-game losing streak.
We welcome you back to Lubbock, Texas, where the weather outside is frightful, but we're delighted to have you back with us at the Coliseum. Once again, it's Texas Tech taking on Oklahoma in Big 12 Conference basketball. With Tony Baroni, I'm Bill Dolman. At halftime, Tony, I think the thing that struck us most about this Oklahoma basketball team is it looks like that layoff has helped them. They're playing like a team that was the front runner in the conference early on.
Bill, we talked about that at the opening, that Oklahoma has had 5 days off, and I'm sure Coach Sampson did the right things with them.
I'm going to take a look now at our Shelter Insurance first half highlights. Eduardo Najera doesn't have a lot of points in this basketball game, but he does a lot of things well for this Sooner club, including pass the ball around. Here's a nice dish inside to Ryan Humphrey.
Great post pass, excellent angle.
But when he has a chance to finish on that Oklahoma break, Najera is as good as anybody. This is Heskett running the show for the Sooners, leaving it to Humphrey, and a nice pass inside, kind of a give and go. Humphrey scored on the assist to Najera. From Najera, Najera scores on Humphrey's assist, and we are at halftime, 37-24. Shelter Insurance, for your life, home, car, farm, or business. Shelter Insurance will always be there for you. Now let's take a look at our Buick first half stats. Texas Tech shot the ball very well early on, but only just 29% in the first half.
I thought that they were out of rhythm on a lot of shots.
And Oklahoma 44%. They did not get to the free throw line. Texas Tech 4 of 5 from the stripe. Three-point shooting, Oklahoma has been outstanding the last couple of weeks, and they've continued that trend in this game. Texas Tech just 2 of 10 from behind the arc. And as we stand at halftime, our score, Oklahoma with a 13-point lead on Texas Tech, 37-24. We'll come back with action in the second half right after this. Today's ESPN Plus Big 12 Conference game is brought to you by Phillips 66. Welcome back to the Coliseum in Lubbock, Texas with Tony Baroni. I'm Bill Dolman. Second half just getting underway here in Lubbock with the Oklahoma Sooners leading the Texas Tech Red Raiders 37-24. Oklahoma with the basketball to begin play in the final 20 minutes. They had a very good first half of play, very disciplined basketball for Kelvin Sampson. And right out of the break, Texas Tech gets a steal and a turnover. Now, Tony, offensively, Texas Tech shot the ball just 29% in that first half. Do you stay within the offense? Do you freelance a little bit more, try and turn up the tempo and get easier shots?
Well, they have to attack the defense. The zone really bothers them in the first half. Oklahoma's a man-to-man at this point.
Johnny Phillips misses badly, and Eric Martin has the rebound for the Sooners. So the Red Raiders failed to capitalize on the early turnover. Spalding, Martin, Humphrey, Najera, and Johnson for Kelvin Sampson, the same starting five. This is Humphrey inside. He had a nice first half. Good move on Johnny Phillips to score, and Ryan Humphrey is now in double figures with 10 points.
He's coming out of his slump, and he's shooting good shots for Ryan Humphrey, which is very important.
He had a 4-game stretch where he was averaging 4 points a game. The average is 11 on the year for the Sooners. He had 16 in the loss to Texas the other night. This is Jason Mitchell. Johnny Phillips, James Ware, Rayford Young, and Cliff Owens on the floor for James Dickey to begin play here in the second half. And we've got a foul on Alex Spalding. That'll be Alex's 4th personal foul. Take a look at the leading scorers in the first half. Eric Martin with 11 points for Oklahoma. Ryan Humphrey now at 10, and Najera just 6 in the game. And for Texas Tech, Rayford Young, 10 points, but 4 shooting from the field, just 3 of 11. Owens with 4, and Johnny Phillips with 3. They've got to get more people involved offensively. And Young's pass is stolen away.
Oklahoma defensively is very, very active on that end of the court.
Humphrey trying to find somebody. He's got Najera. Can't score over Ellis, who has come into the game. And Owens has the rebound. And once Cliff Owens gets his hands on a basketball, you're not going to get away from him too easily. That guy is a rock. Mitchell swings it around. Ellis inside, had it blocked by Humphrey. His timing is excellent when it comes to blocking shots, and we've got a charging foul going to be called on James Ware of Texas Tech and a turnover.
It's real important for Tech to keep the ball in the hands of Rayford Young. You see a wonderful block by Humphrey on that particular play. He was on top of the ball.
What a great athlete. Humphrey, the sophomore from Tulsa, 6'8". He plays a lot bigger than that.
He's got great springs.
Look at him get open inside, turns, that doesn't fall, and we've got contact after the shot, and that's going to be on Cliff Owens as Humphrey goes down hard.
These are always tough fouls, tough calls for the official, and a tough call for the coach, because I'm sure James wants to challenge that shot, but you have to go straight up in the air and not lean in when you're trying to challenge.
And Humphrey will go to the free throw line. He'll have 2. The Sooners lead it by 15, 39-24. Tim Heskett, by the way, has come in for Alex Spalding, who went to the bench for those 4 fouls. more set to go. Humphrey on the year, just 46% from the foul line. And he connects on the first. He had 11 points and 11 rebounds for a double-double when these two teams met earlier in the month of January.
Bill, I look at body language a lot on the court, and you see a real enthusiasm with the Oklahoma guys, and Tech is just searching for some kind of enthusiasm.
Humphrey 2 of 2. That'll make headlines back in Norman. 41-24. The Sooners trying to break a 4-game losing streak, 3 of which have come in conference play and 2 at home. 1 to Nebraska and 1 to Texas. They also lost on the road at Kansas State. 15 seconds now to shoot for Texas Tech, and this is what we saw in that first half, Tony. A lot of time used on that shot clock by the Red Raiders. Young drives in, scores off the glass. That's a pretty move, and he scored over Najera.
It's really unique that he can get the ball up to the glass as small as he is inside. It's a great quick release with the ball.
It took Texas Tech almost 3 minutes to get its first 2 points of the half. Martin spots up at the line. That would have been a 2. And Owens goes down and pulls down the rebound and clears it ahead to Rayford Young. And Young working on Michael Johnson, and Johnson couldn't keep step and picks up the foul.
Those bump fouls occur defensively when you don't keep the ball in front of you. Once the ball gets on the side of you, you're going to commit a bump foul.
And for Johnson, that's his 3rd personal foul. A 3-point try taken by James Ware. The long rebound to Najera. Ahead to Johnson. And Michael will spot up with a 3. That rolls off. Martin was there for the rebound. Great position by Eric Martin for the putback.
Again, Oklahoma is really doing a great job on the offensive glass.
They're doing a lot of things well today.
I think it's an interesting matchup when Martin is on Rayford Young. He seems to really be bothering Rayford with his size. He can play off him a step and really be a factor on him.
Well, Eric Martin goes 6'5", and Rayford Young goes 5'11", maybe. Good defense along the baseline by Tim Heskett as he forces the turnover. 16-10 to play in the game, and Mario Lane checks in for Texas Tech, and Victor Avila will come in for the Sooners.
A good job by Heskett here of getting to the baseline to prevent the offensive player from going baseline. Did a good job of acting, too.
Tim's a sophomore at Lexington, South Carolina. Martin gets free from Mitchell. On the top of the key, that goes. He wanted a foul, he got the 2.
Absolutely excellent execution.
And we've got a timeout on the floor taken by Texas Tech. It's a 22nd timeout. 15:53 to play in the game, and the Sooners, who had a good first half, are opening up very strong here in the second half, Coach.
They seem to be very confident in what they're doing. And in this loss, the losses they've had, their execution was not good. And in addition to the fact now that Tech has not been able to push the ball up the court against Oklahoma, which I thought would be a factor in this particular game.
Well, this is a very different Texas Tech basketball team than the one that you coached against, the one that Big 12 fans have seen over the years. Tony Battie, Corey Carr, Rayford Young was on the floor with those guys. Darvin Ham.
You know, I think every team goes through a slump during the season. You just have to get them out of it as quickly as you can. And I think that's happening a little bit here with Tech.
And, of course, Stan Bonowitz. We talked about him in the open. The field goal percentage has not gotten any better here in the second half, 29%. The Red Raiders are the best field goal shooting team in the Big 12 Conference, which is 29% today. And Oklahoma, around 44%. That's where they've been the last couple of weeks in Big 12 play.
This zone is bothering Tech again.
Young lost his dribble. Good pass to Mario Lane. Shot blocked by Avila.
Oklahoma's blocked a number of shots today, Bill.
He had 5 blocks at halftime and 2 more since the break. Najera, crowd wanted to travel. Ellis battles for the rebound, and it's Martin who spots up for the 3, and he hits it. Oh, what a day for Eric Martin. What a month for Eric Martin.
Reminds me a little bit of myself. Just dead shot. I mean, every shot he's taken has been right there.
Ellis gets one home for Texas Tech. The second basket of the half for the Red Raiders. It's a 20-point game, 48-28.
Bill, you have to make Martin put the ball on the deck. You can't let him set up and shoot the basketball.
Martin has scored the last 7 points for Oklahoma.
Heskett has given him nice minutes today. Been very solid.
Najera backs in and he's called for the charge. Good defensive stance that time by Andy Ellis for Texas Tech, and that forces the turnover. It'll be Texas Tech basketball. We've got a timeout on the floor with 14:33 to play. Eric Martin has been dynamite for Oklahoma. He's got 18 points. His Sooners lead it by 20.
Guys.
Oh my goodness, what a shot by Villanova to win that basketball game over Georgetown. We talked about the
Catholic schools. You know how that works.
We talked about the chemistry that James Dickey is trying to find with this Texas Tech ball club. That's Stan Bonowitz, a senior leader for this club. He had hernia surgery a couple of weeks ago, and just not having him on the floor, you can sense that they're trying to find something.
And he's over on the sideline, kneeling down, wanting to get into the game.
Ellis had his shot blocked, but he stays with it and scores. That's
impressive for a freshman. He had a shot blocked, probably got fouled, but just didn't stop playing and continued through.
48-30. Martin. He's looking to shoot every time he touches the basketball. Michael Johnson got confidence in his shot. Drove it into traffic, lost the handle on it, but it's Oklahoma basketball.
When you're hot like Martin is, you just feel every shot you shoot's going to go in.
Johnson trying to find somebody. Lofts it into the backcourt. It's tapped away by Jason Mitchell. Out of bounds to Oklahoma.
Coach Sampson's not going to be happy with that because he had a play set up for a quick post-up, and they didn't deliver the ball quick enough.
Coach Sampson wasn't happy, but the crowd that's here at the Coliseum was happy. Not a big crowd today in Lubbock. Most folks are probably still trying to find their shovels. They're trying to buy one.
Buying one is probably the issue, as we were cleaning our cars off this morning with our hands.
That foul is on Mario Lane of Texas Tech. The second and the third team foul on the Red Raiders here in the half. Each team with 3 team fouls. The Sooners lead it by 18. Heskett tried to get free on the inbounds play. They leave it for Najera. And contact in the lane, and that's going to go against Victor Avila. He and Andy Ellis.
The referees do not want the offensive player to push to get position there. I don't know that I would have called that. I thought they both were banging pretty good.
Victor didn't like the call. He liked the reaction. That's his second personal foul, and team foul number 4 now on Oklahoma. Mario Lane getting it to Ellis. And a nice pass inside. Owens got held by Najera. They didn't see it, and Cliff scored anyway.
Nice pass by Ellis over the top. He's about 6'10", and he was able to throw the ball over the top of the defender.
It's a 16-point game, and the crowd trying to get in this one. Najera on the move. Had it knocked away, and it's going to be a foul on Eduardo Najera.
Eduardo gets out of control occasionally. Would have been better suited pulling up for the jump shot here. He had the defense beat, and he really just tried to take it in through 3 guys.
Jason Mitchell had the position defensively. Young forces it ahead to Mitchell. His pass was tapped away by Najera. And I say the Red Raiders will maintain possession now.
Oklahoma has gone back into the 3-2 zone. And Tech has had problems attacking it.
Mario Lane surveying. Forcing it inside. Good catch by Owens. Turnaround jumper over. Humphrey softly goes through.
They worked the baseline on the zone and screened on the baseline and got a good wide open shot.
Well, the Red Raiders on a mini 6-0 run. They cut it to 14. Najera leaves it for Martin. And Eric wanted the 3. He couldn't pull the trigger. 10 seconds on the shot clock now for the Sooners. 5 seconds. Johnson pulls up. Front irons the 3 try. Ellis had the rebound, left it for Lane, and Mario gets the loose ball. Puts it off the glass. That won't fall, but he draws the foul on Eric Martin. Well, that was sloppy, but at least it went the Red Raiders' way if you're a Red Raider fan.
And the tempo is where they should take it, probably. Mitchell made a really nice play to keep the ball alive on this particular play.
Martin was back, but he was backing up as well.
You have to be stationary, and once the guy leaves, you cannot move your feet.
And Lane fails to connect. Mario Lane, as we talked about, under 60% from the line this year. He's averaging 7 points a game for James Dickey.
The biggest fault I see with free throw shooting now is that the kids are tending to back off the line before they're finished with their shot, and it causes them to miss the free throw.
This is the second, and the rebound tapped to Michael Johnson. Still a 14-point game, 48-34. You get the feeling, Coach, that Texas Tech has a run in them somewhere, but he just gets some momentum. And they do have a run going right now. Inside Stone has come in, and he'll be called for traveling, and it's a turnover to Texas Tech. We've got a timeout on the floor with 11:39 remaining. We'll be right back after this message from your friends at Phillips 66, the Performance Company. Phillips 66 is proud to be the presenting sponsor of Big 12 basketball. Be sure to stop by your local Phillips 66 station and fill up with high-quality, super clean gasoline only from Phillips 66, the Performance Company. Oklahoma on top of Texas Tech, 48-34 with Tony Baroni. I'm Bill Dolman. We're at the Lubbock Coliseum in Lubbock, Texas. And the Red Raiders have trailed by as many as 20 points here in the second half, but over the last 2 minutes and 54 seconds, they've outscored OU 6-0. Eric Martin goes to the bench to take a bit of a break. He's got 18 points in the game, 4 of 6 from behind the arc. And again, Oklahoma will work defensively out of its zone with Najera running that point spot.
Texas Tech is trying to run some cutters through to get some mismatches against the zone and screening on the backside. They have struggled all day against this zone.
They've got 5 seconds to shoot. This is Javon Banks. He's in trouble, lost it, and Humphrey has it. They have not been able to solve that Oklahoma zone. And you know Stan Bonowitz is sitting over there on that, he's kneeling over there on that Texas Tech bench saying, get me in there and let me cast one up. I'll break that zone.
He could do it. No question about that.
Rodney Kennard knocks it away from Humphrey. Here come the Red Raiders ahead to Mario Lane, and he scores.
Great pass by Banks. I've seen a lot of teams this year who have not finished off post play.
And Kelvin Sampson wants to use a 20-second timeout. Well, bit by bit, the Red Raiders are getting back into this basketball game. They needed that transition hoop.
And it came off of a defensive steal by Kennard in the post. He got around the post-up man, and the pass was too slow. And the post people have to come and get it, and he didn't, and they got a layup.
Mario Lane scores for Texas Tech. 48-36 is our score. This game's not out of reach for James Dickey's club.
I think James and Coach Sampson have both done a great job of substituting. James, with keeping Rayford Young on the sideline a little bit now, gives him a chance to get a breather and get that ankle pumped up a little bit.
10 minutes, 38 seconds remaining. Oklahoma kind of went into a lull, much like this in the first half. And Humphrey is fouled by Kennard as he went to the hole. And that'll be team foul number 5 on Texas Tech.
Good job coming out of a timeout, Bill. You'll see the coaches, Coach Sampson and Coach Dickey, they're going to get a go-to play. And that was a post-up for Ryan right out of the out-of-bounds play to get the ball close to the basket.
To the free throw line. And Ryan, who has struggled this year from the line, is now 3 of 3. The only three free throw attempts, rather, that Oklahoma has shot today. And that's something that they've not done very well this year at all, is get to the line, as opposed to in the past where they've led the conference in free throw attempts per game. They're down to 20 a game this year.
And it's based on where they're shooting the ball from to start with.
3 or 4 in the day for Ryan Humphrey from the stripe. He's got 13 points. And it's a 13-point lead for Oklahoma, 49-36. Lane cutting. That was easy.
Against the zone, not to be technical, but if you replace a cutter with the cutter, the second cutter is open, and that's what happens.
And it's an 11-point contest, 49-38. Johnson and Banks collide in the backcourt. Here's Martin back into the game, shoots the three, back ironed, and the long rebound. Tapped to Javon Banks. He's in the court right with Spalding. Spalding's got 4 fouls, and he drew another one.
Now see, Banks was really aggressive on that break. He took the ball right to the rim and did a wonderful job.
So Alex Spalding's day is done with 9:40 to play in the basketball game.
I hear a lot of people say, well, you know, he shouldn't have picked up that foul. He should have known how many fouls he had. In the emotion of the game and a fast break tempo like that, he wasn't even thinking about that, no question.
He goes to the bench with 5 fouls and 5 points. This is Javon Banks. He's been dynamite from the line. He's got 2 coming to him. 9 of 11 in conference play, 72% though on the season. And it's a 10-point game, Tony.
See a little emotion from Tech right now. They're pumped up and they've made a nice run here. Watch for Martin and Humphrey on this next play down the court.
A chance to get under 10. And he's done it. 49-40. And this crowd, they had a bit of a wait-and-see attitude, likes what it sees. They're into it now. And Kennard knocked it away from Humphrey, but Rodney's going to be called for the foul.
See, Bill, that's when coaches start to get gray hair. The play before that was the same type of a play, and it was a clean steal. It looked like Rodney was a little bit behind him that time and probably, you know, got his hand in there a little bit too much.
Team foul number 5 on the Red Raiders. Johnson can't get it in, and he's got to use a timeout.
Oklahoma has had a problem on the baseline out-of-bounds play of getting the ball inbounds.
It's a 20-second timeout called by Kelvin Sampson. And now we're starting to see a little more spring in the step of the Red Raiders. They trotted over to the huddle.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing when you talk about momentum. What is it? Nobody really knows what it is. But when you watch, you can see the different hop that they have in their step right now.
The scoring run, 12-1 over the last 4.5 minutes. You had a feeling that they had one in them.
And you said that, and this is a game of spurts. Every team in the game of basketball is going to have a spurt at some time.
49-40 Oklahoma basketball. They've got a fresh 35 to work with. There's Najera. He's been quiet in the second half, and he traveled with it. Kennard defensively forced the walk.
Well, I'm glad I'm sitting over here right now. Back in the zone. Let's see if they can penetrate the zone with the cutter again.
Into the corner. Good catch by Ware, just to keep it in play. But again, that Oklahoma defense is forcing the shot clock down. Inside 15 now. Phillips in the corner. Back out. Banks, 9 seconds to shoot. Banks for 3-8. Leaves it for Lane along the baseline. Humphrey with the block.
Came across the lane. Excellent timing by Ryan.
Heskett with the basketball now. Good pass inside Najera. He's blocked by Kennard. Out of bounds, Oklahoma basketball.
Good post feed by Texas Tech, or by Oklahoma. Tech, great help side defense.
Rayford Young comes back in for Texas Tech. A chance to rest that sore ankle. And a chance to help his ball club now. Here's Heskett with it. Oklahoma has shown great patience in its half-court offense this afternoon. And a foul away from the basketball will go against Mario Lane, defending Eric Martin.
Oklahoma runs a lot of picks to get their players open. And they do a great job of setting solid picks. It was tough for Texas Tech to get through that pick.
And Johnson will kick it in. And they've got a fresh 35 to work with. 8.5 to play in the game. Heskett inside. Martin gets free, and he's hammered by Lane, and he scores.
This kid Martin is a fine offensive player beyond the three-point shot. That was a great post-up. He got wonderful position, and he did a super job of exploding through offensively.
And Martin goes to the free throw line to try and complete the three-point play. Martin, a senior from Louisville, Kentucky. A great shooter all around behind the arc and from the stripe, 83% on the year. And he completes the three-point play and the leads back into double figures at 12, 52 to 40. Rayford Young back in there. He hit a three to start the game, but he's been quiet offensively. His touch hasn't been there. There with the basketball, Mitchell inside Owens. Softly with the jump hook.
They're starting to penetrate the zone with the high-low pass, and that's a good way to break down this 3-2 zone.
Under 8 to play. Heskett moving on where Martin's got it. Johnson's left three for three. He can't hit, and the long rebound to Heskett. Inside, Humphrey had a shot blocked by Kennard, but Kennard fouled it. Good ball movement.
Yeah, Kennard took himself out of the play by trying to steal the pass into the paint, which left Ryan with a real easy drop step to the basket.
And Humphrey goes back to the free throw line. He's 3 of 4 on the day. Last year, an all Big 12 freshman team selection. Back iron, and it's still a 10-point game.
Last year, Bill, Ryan had some asthma problems, and it looks like he has really kicked that because he's playing with great bounce and running the court real well.
He and Najera both had some health problems last year. Najera played most of the year with a stress fracture. Tim Heskett missed most of the season with back injury. And Eric Martin also had some back problems. Humphrey missed them both with a long rebound to Michael Johnson. Kelvin Sampson thought, you know, I can't have that many injury problems coming into this year. They had a junior college prospect in Kelly Duke that they were very, very high on, but he tore his ACL before the season even started. And they have been limited on their roster. They'll only go about 8 deep.
Oklahoma has been really quick to the basketball.
10 seconds to shoot. Najera working on Ellis. Lost the handle on it. Scores anyway.
It's not going your way when you knock the ball out of the opponent's hands and he gets it back and scores.
54-42. Najera with 8 points in the game. Young with it. And he's fouled in the backcourt by Tim Heskett. And the Sooners are already over the 7-foul limit, so Rayford will go to the free throw line.
It's the most frequently committed foul when you're guarding the dribble, and that's put your hands on him. That call should be made immediately, and these guys, the officials here, a good crew, have done a great job of that today.
Victor Avila has come back in for Oklahoma. Humphrey will get a break. And Young steps back to the line. Rayford had 17 points in their last game against Oklahoma, and that's a rare miss for Rayford. And it's still a 12-point game, 54-42. 6 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. Martin with 21 in the game, double teamed in the corner, and a foul called on Texas Tech. And that'll go on Jason Mitchell.
Good teams will find their best players when they need a basket. So Johnson here, obviously, Martin, Eduardo, they're going to find those guys, and those are the guys you have to contain.
Both teams over the 7-foul limit. In fact, that's the 19th foul now on Texas Tech. Martin shooting the 1-and-1. He has been hot at Big 12 play. He had 27 points against Nebraska. And 96-81 loss, but 8 of 10 from behind the arc in that game.
Well, he's just a picture-perfect shooter. There are a lot of good shooters in the Big 12, and he's right up there at the top.
In his last 3 games, get this, coach, hitting 61%, 14 of 23 from behind the arc. That's coming into play today, and he's been dynamite today. He's got 24 points for the Sooners. We've got a timeout on the floor. We'll be right back after this message from your friends at Phillips 66, the Performance Company.
In Lubbock.
Thank you, Doug. Some teams just know how to win.
Well, that's why they're number 1, because they have won a number of close games. I laugh sometimes when people say, well, they're playing a lot of close games, but they're winning all of them. That's what you're supposed to do.
And a heartbreaking loss for St. John's. They took Duke to overtime last weekend at home. They lose to UConn at home this weekend.
Another changing defense. This time a little half-court trap by Oklahoma.
56-42 is our score. OU on top of Texas Tech. Rayford Young with the basketball. A lot more activity on that Sooner defense, and Michael Johnson comes flying in the press row.
It's dangerous against the trapping defense to pick up your dribble and try to throw over the top when you're Rayford, because he's tiny.
Texas Tech was dismal in the first half from the field, 29%, but much better here in the second half, 57%. As we talked about already, they're the top shooting team in the Big 12 Conference. That's with Stan Bono is healthy. Turnover, Michael Johnson, 3-on-2 situation for Oklahoma. Martin didn't have the shot, they work it around. Najera will take the long-range jumper, and that's out of bounds to Texas Tech.
The size of the Oklahoma defense is really causing some problems for Rayford. He's getting himself in a little bit too deep, and he doesn't have his dribble, and it's very tough to throw over Eduardo and Martin on the other side.
Texas Tech had made a 12-1 run on Oklahoma, but the Sooners, after a 22nd timeout, have outscored Texas Tech 7-2 over the last 3 minutes. Banks, he'll try the 3. Najera may have gotten a piece of it. The long-range rebound to Young. He'll try the 3. He hits.
Oklahoma played a little 1-3-1 zone that time.
56-45. They gave that 3 points to Oklahoma on the scoreboard, and on the miss, the foul goes against OU.
Coach Sampson will not be happy with that offensive thrust. Late game situations when you're trying to control what's going on, you get the ball at a point guard and let him run his show.
And he's got an experienced point guard in Michael Johnson.
And Heskett played point for him last year a little bit, so they've got 2 guys that can handle a rock.
And they've got the scoreboard corrected now. 56-45 was the score. You could hear the Red Raider fans buzzing behind us. They wanted that 3.
Bill, every game, the meat of it comes down to free throw shooting. Every game you watch.
Here's Heskett with it. Najera working on Ellis. Defense by Andy Ellis. Get it back to Najera. Fade away. In and out. Martin is there for the tip in. That won't go. Jason Mitchell kept it alive to Banks. And Young draws a hand check foul on Heskett.
A little bit of the old quickness right there. The adrenaline's flowing. They're making a run. A nice hesitation dribble that time by Rayford. Texas Tech cannot give the ball into the paint to Eduardo the way they're doing it. He's too good. Now, he hasn't shot the ball well.
But Najera's a guy who is so active, like we talked about, offensively and defensively, so his presence in the lane creates so many other opportunities for his teammates.
And that's what good ball players do. They make things happen, not only for themselves, but for their teammates.
Young had missed 2 in a row. That was a long drought for him, and he canned the second one there. That makes it a 10-point game, 56-46. And Renzai Stone, who we haven't seen a whole lot of today, is checked back into the lineup for Oklahoma. He is bothered by a sprained shoulder that he hurt in the Texas game on Monday night. Michael Johnson is fouled on the floor, and that'll go against Rayford Young.
I'm really surprised defensively by both teams at the point guard position. They're not staying in front of the ball. Michael Johnson here is really a quick point guard. He does a nice job of getting into the paint, and elevating for that shot.
Johnson 86% of conference play, 80% for the season. And he has found his shooting touch the last 5 games, 57% from behind the arc.
Your point guard has to be able to shoot free throws.
Makes them both. And the lead is back up to 12. 58-46, 4.5 minutes to play.
There's plenty of time in the game. If you get the three, you want to shoot it, but
Young gives off. Mitchell now will try the three. And the rebound pulled down by Eric Martin.
just to finish the thought, you don't have to have threes at that end right now. What you have to do is create some turnovers on the defensive end of the court.
Martin working on Ellis. Young got out of position. As soon as working around the perimeter, Martin spots up, hits the three.
I'll tell you, if I was guarding him right now, I wouldn't even leave him. I would just guard him wherever he goes to the bench. I'd go to the bench with him.
And we've got a timeout called by Texas Tech with 3:55 to play. The Sooners lead it 61-46. We'll be right back after this message from your friends at Phillips 66. With Tony Baroni, I'm Bill Dolman. Welcome back to Lubbock. The Oklahoma Sooners have put some distance between themselves and the Texas Tech Red Raiders. They now lead it 61-46 with 3:55 to play in the basketball game here at the Lubbock Coliseum. Eric Martin has been dynamite, Tony, from the field.
Well, he's just nailed the shots, hasn't he, today? A wonderful performance.
26 points, 5 of 8 from behind the arc.
Oklahoma in a little half-court trap there. Changing defenses has really bothered Tech. It really has. They've struggled with that.
And they have not found somebody that can bust the zone when they've gone to it.
Well, you know, what's happening is Oklahoma's really shading to Rayford as a starting point.
Rayford will try the long three. No good. Humphrey has it. That's what Oklahoma has done time and again in this basketball game. Ahead, Stone on the alley-oop is able to get it in. And Johnson picks it out of the air and falls into the Texas Tech bench, and it's a big bear hug from James Dickey.
I think he'd like to keep him over there. Michael's done a nice job today of running the show for Oklahoma. You see, with Bonowitz out, you've got Banks, you've got Young, and you've got Ware. And in terms of doing that, James is holding on tight over there.
63-46, inside 3 to play. Off the glass for Javon Banks.
See, with Eduardo at the point of that zone, he creates problems from the size factor.
6 in the game now for Banks. He picks up Michael Johnson at the other end. Stone, nice pass to Heskett. Inside, Humphrey had his shot blocked, but he's fouled by Andy Ellis. One thing that Rinzai Stone does so well, he may not have a lot of points, but he passes the ball extremely well as a postman.
You know, Bill, that is a major plus when you have a big guy that can make passes. The kid at Northwestern right now, Evan Eschmeyer, is brilliant at that. And what he did was they ran a little cut, went back door, and then I give Heskett the credit because he could have shot it. He was open, but he saw Ryan under the post. That gives him a better shot. That's team chemistry.
Stone's been in Kelvin Sampson's system. He knows what he wants to do offensively, knows how to run the show. Humphrey back to the free throw line. Ryan's getting a lot of practice from that strike.
Rinzai Stone will win games for Oklahoma as the year wears on. He's a quality person, and he plays very, very hard.
They need to get that shoulder healthy, but he's had a pretty productive afternoon. He goes to the bench. Humphrey, Najera, Martin, Heskett, and Johnson for Kelvin Sampson. And Ryan gets the second one to roll home. Banks, Ellis, Owens, Young, and Ware for Texas Tech. 65-48. Banks left alone. He scored.
Now that time they had Martin at the point, and he's nowhere near as effective defensively as Eduardo is.
Basket in the corner, hounded by Rayford Young. Najera pass inside is tipped away from Ryan Humphrey. It's Texas Tech basketball.
That was one of the passes that I'm sure Coach Sampson did not want. It wasn't crisp. It floated in there, and it was easily picked off on the baseline.
Najera is a pretty good passer. He's second on this Oklahoma team in assists. Better than 2 a game.
Back to the 3-2 zone.
This is Banks. Got in trouble in traffic, and his pass is taken away by Najera, who's also second on this Oklahoma team in steals.
Cardinal sin is you cannot jump in the air and try to make a pass. It's very difficult.
Today's game has been brought to you by Buick. Isn't it time for a real car? Phillips 66, makers of super clean gasolines and Trop Arctic motor oil. Advance Auto Parts. The best part is our people. Shelter Insurance. For your life, home, car, farm, or business, Shelter Insurance will always be there for you. And by Las Vegas. It's anything and everything. Make your escape today. Call your travel agent. With Tony Baroni, I'm Bill Dolman. 1:40 remaining in Lubbock. Michael Johnson made the first of 2 free throws. And cans the second. It's a 17-point basketball game. Texas Tech trailed by 13 at the break. They cut that lead to 9. They had the momentum going midway through the second half. And Oklahoma just turned it back up again. Picked up the intensity defensively. And they shut the door on the Red Raiders.
James is taking Rayford out to let him, relax at the end of the game and try not to create more problems with their ankle.
It's one of those injuries that they say, it may not get better. Whether they sit in or play.
You're right, and those kinds of injuries are the most frustrating.
Ellis scores, making it a 15-point basketball game.
Oklahoma is a tough team to pressure because they have 3 or 4 guys that can really handle the ball, with Eduardo being one of them.
Najera goes to the glass and he scores and draws a foul.
I've been impressed with Oklahoma today. James Dickey at Tech has done a great job with this program. He'll get it turned back in the right direction, I'm sure, this year. With the new arena they have, the commitment they have to basketball here, he'll be fine.
They've got a tough stretch coming up. They've got Missouri, 2 games with Texas. They've got a game with Nebraska, Oklahoma State, and Kansas, all remaining on their conference slate.
No breather at all.
Najera completes the 3-point play. Eduardo's in double figures. He had a tough game against Kansas State. He's got the steal here. And he'll have an easy 2 for the Sooners. He had 3 points and no rebounds against Kansas State. And he's getting back into the swing of things. And boy, when he's excited, he plays with a big smile on his face.
Coach Dickey will be more upset about that than a lot of other things. It was just not a good pass.
Ellis, nice catch, turn around, that won't go. Martin had it knocked away from him, and Jason Mitchell was fouled as he tried the reverse layup. 22.5 seconds remaining in this one. Let's take a look now at our best play of the game, brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. The best part is our people, and Oklahoma has been playing some physical defense, Coach, all game long.
Well, Eduardo on that play threw a cross-body block into the offensive guy, and then Ryan Humphrey came across and did a great job of blocking the shot.
Well, everybody's all smiles for the Sooners today. Ryan Humphrey had a nice game, too. In addition to his block shots, he was in double figures in points. Got 13 in the game, second to Eric Martin, who's had a terrific day. This will end Oklahoma's 4-game losing streak. They'll improve to 5-3 in conference play, 14-7 in the game. As Mitchell makes the second free throw, Texas Tech is going to fall below 500. They'll be 10-11. 2-6 in the conference, and their losing streak will move to 4 games. They're next at Missouri. Oklahoma will play Baylor next week, or next Wednesday rather, in Waco. Then they've got the Bedlam series. That'll renew against Oklahoma State and Norman, and they've got a big one with Texas coming up in Austin on the 10th. So a lot of action in the Southern Division for these 2 clubs. Michael Kano is checked in, number 3 for the Sooners. 20 seconds remaining in the ball game.
Michael is looking to get a shot off here if he can. Good fade to the corner on that play.
Kano with it. His teammates, when Oleg Retsov is also in there, he collects, puts it off the glass. That won't fall. And this one will come to an end. Lane with one last shot at the buzzer that goes off the front of the rim. Would have counted had it gone, and Would have given Texas Tech something to feel good about as they go to the locker room. But this one has come to an end, and it's the Sooners of Oklahoma who will go back to Norman with a 72-54 victory.
Bill, energy, energy, energy. I think when we look at the game, we saw the really good, consistent bounce of Oklahoma. I think the 5 days off really gave them an advantage at this time of the year.
And there will be a bounce in the Sooner step tomorrow as Oklahoma has defeated Texas Tech 72-54. For Tony Brony, I'm Bill Dolman. Thanks for joining us. So long from Lubbock. Let's send it back to Studio 66.
Bill Dolman, Coach Brony, thank you very much. A much-needed victory for the Sooners as they stopped that slide, and now they appear headed in a positive direction. Our other game today, Missouri is pouring it on Baylor at the Hearn Center. The Tigers led early. They poured it on late with a full-court press that the Baylor and their inexperienced backcourt simply cannot handle. Missouri will win. Let's check out some other scores now from around the country. First off, Dayton knocks off Xavier, the first loss in the A-10 for the Musketeers. 91-86, they stormed the court in Dayton, and St. Bonnie leads Temple 50-46. 6 minutes to play. Temple has not lost in the A-10 as well. Turning the page on our scores from around the country, in the Mo Valley, it's Indiana State beating Bradley. Now, Bradley was in a three-way tie for first place in the Mo Valley, but they go down 61-48. And Northern Iowa at home loses to Creighton. Creighton now 7-4, along with Bradley in second place in the Missouri Valley Conference. In the MAC, it's Ball State on top of Bowling Green 61-60. And Akron knocks off Central Michigan. At least they have so far. There's 5 minutes to play. It's 74-67. Western Michigan leads Buffalo 69-53, and Kent over Northern Illinois 28-25. That's in the first half. Northern Illinois has struggled this season at 1-9 in league play. It's Drexel, a winner at home over Maine, and Hofstra beats New Hampshire 77-64. New Hampshire has struggled, now 1-10 in the America East Conference. In the Midwestern Collegiate, it's Butler over Loyola, 38-32. Butler in a tie for first at 7-1, along with Detroit. Detroit at home today. They lead at 51-40, so that's the battle for first place in the Midwestern Collegiate. Still lots of time to play in both games. ACC, FSU goes down to Virginia in Tallahassee. Only the second conference victory for the young Cavaliers in the ACC. And Canisius leads Iona 63-60. Over 8 minutes to play. Iona in first place at 7-3. More scores happening as we speak. Colgate on top of Holy Cross, 18-9. And Harvard leads Yale by 10 at halftime. Yale looking for their first Ivy League victory. Now to the top 25 as we check the scores from around the land. It's Wisconsin over Minnesota, 61-50. The Badgers still 1 game behind Michigan State in the Big Ten. They're having a terrific season, a surprise to most everyone who follows college basketball. Cincinnati at home. They've won 29 in a row on their home floor as they pound UAB. This game really was never in doubt. The Bearcats trailed early, but then methodically wore down the Blazers 73-60. It's St. John's losing at home to UConn. UConn was down by 14 points and came rolling back to win this one to remain unbeaten at 11-0 in the Big East, 19-0 overall, 78-74. And Iowa leads Michigan at halftime, 39-38. Iowa continues to have a fine season, and they hope to hold on against Michigan today, playing in Ann Arbor. And the Big 12, Missouri has beaten Baylor. At least they're moments away, leading 75-45. That is a final score now. Missouri has beaten Baylor 75-45. The Tigers go to 6-2, 5-2 in the league, 14-4 overall. Oklahoma snaps their losing streak as they beat the Red Raiders 72-54. Again, Oklahoma does it with defense.